Hello and welcome everyone to another Foreman community demo. So if you have any questions during the demo, please feel free to write to us on the Foreman and Libera chat IRC or here directly into the YouTube live chat, as both will be monitored. And also, if the weather here today in Ireland is a little bit on the gloomy side, shall we say, the normal side, but nothing too disruptive. But every now and again, the network connection can be a bit on the ropey side. So if you have any problems with buffering, if you have any problems with volume, anything disrupting you watching the live stream, just drop me a comment and I will do my best to remedy it or have you all hop on to our Google Meet with us if necessary. So just say the word and I will do my best to rectify that. In terms of announcements, so with any luck, next week we will have the Foreman 3.0 branching, and you have then some basically release candidates to look forward to. So we will be announcing those release candidates both on Twitter and on our Foreman community discourse, so just keep an eye out. And today we'll have for Foreman 3.0, one of the major milestones that we are reaching is to do with the Puppet extraction, and Andrea is going to talk you through a bit of that today. So you have that to look forward to. In other news, I kind of formally made the commitment that we are going to aim for Foreman 3.0 for docs.theforeman.org to become our official documentation. This means that we're going to probably retire the old Foreman manuals, and if all goes ahead, you'll find the latest and greatest docs always at docs.theforeman.org. There's a bit of work to be done. Most of the documentation on the site, if you haven't seen it already, is probably in places more up to date than the Foreman manuals. There's probably more feature coverage also, but we're going to ensure that there is as much feature parity as possible. So we've a lot of work to do with that. You can help also by raising issues against the docs if you spot something. You can also, if you are contributing features, for example, you're very, very welcome to raise a PR as soon as the feature is up, and that would really help just the general community have the best experience possible. Foreman is a beast, so we're just trying through this to make life a little bit easier. This is, if you haven't heard me talk about this for 2 years now, this is the Red Hat open customer documentation has been open sourced, and also ATIX have contributed an enormous amount to this and will continue to contribute. So hopefully this is just a better all-around experience for everyone. And just one more thing before we begin today, please complete our Foreman community survey. The thing is that we don't do any kind of monitoring of how people are using Foreman, so we rely on you to report how you're using the project, what you like about the project, what is driving you crazy, what you'd like to see changed about the project, and in this way you can really affect the future course of Foreman. And it's a real, we would love to hear how you're using it. So please take the 10 minutes required to complete the survey. You'll find a link in the YouTube chat. You'll find a link also in the video description. If you go to our community discourse, it's pinned. If you have any problems with that, just talk to me. But I think that it should be easy enough for you to find it. And I think that is everything from me for now. So I will go quiet and I will pass the microphone for the first demo on to Leos, who's going to talk to us about some host registration and updating packages feature that was recently merged. So.
Okay, let me check the screen. And hope that you can see my Foreman. Hello everyone. Yep, today I'm going to talk about one new field in registration, and it's the field called update packages. And without no surprise, it does what it says. So when you're registering your host, usually you may want to update all the packages on the system. So for this, you can simply check the update field, update packages, and then when you run the registration, your package manager will update all the packages. So let's see how it works in the real. So update packages is checked. Let's go and select the activation keys, generate the command. You can see that this past value update package is true. So let's copy it. And this is my CentOS machine. So let's go and try to register it. Now we need to just download the subscription manager and all the required packages for the registration. The update of the packages is actually happening after the registration, not before. So if there will be any errors during the registration process, we don't run the update. Also want to say that we support all the package managers like DNF, YAM, and apt for Debian and Ubuntu. Maybe also Zipper for SUSE, but I'm not sure right now. I would say probably yes, we also support that. And still downloading. Yeah, my connection is not really great today. So this is taking a while, but yeah, the field is pretty simple. The feature is also not very much doing the updating.
And Leish, there's a question here, where are the packages coming from, the ones available on the host?
This will update all the packages. It will basically on the CentOS, it will run yum update. Well, for all the packages. These ones right now that are installed, these ones are part of the subscription manager package, if I'm not mistaken. And oh yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. We already registered the host. It was faster than I was expecting. Sorry. So my internet connection is actually faster. As you can see here, we already run the updating packages, and these packages are from my CentOS machine. So yes, sorry for that. So as you can see, the packages have been updated, and we're just running cleanup, and the registration is almost done. So yeah, that's everything from me.
It's great, Leish. Thank you very much. And other than that question, let me just take a look. There is usually a small bit of a delay. So as a follow-up to that initial question of where the package is coming from, the ones available on the host, Maximilian also asks Leish, so no new content is coming from Foreman then?
No. It's just updating the packages that are available on the host.
Okay, thank you very much, Leish. And I think that's... and thank you for the question. So we can now, I think, move on to our second demo, which is from Maria. And Maria has come a few times in the past and has given some updates around UX design. Yeah, so please take it away, Maria.
Yeah, firstly, I would love to encourage everyone to share their opinions and feedback with me, because it's really important for us designers to create something that would be useful and appreciated by you users. So today I would love to talk a bit about my search research. It's about visual aspects and capabilities of search options, and it was focused primarily on search inputs. So in the end of this presentation, I will also present my designs, and I would love to hear your opinions about it. So what are current problems with the state of search bars or search inputs? So they are old, they are inconsistent, and some of features that we used today are not supported by EF4.
Hold on a second. I just mute Leish. There we go. I'm sorry, Leish, come off mute. There was a bit of noise. You probably heard it as well. There we go. You can continue.
Okay, thank you very much. So what did I do? So I map all search input types and filter combination within the Foreman. Also, then after that, I analyze data and categorize discovered patterns. And in the end, I am proposing new design, and which I would love to evaluate with all of you. So how does search input looks like? So it may or may not have placeholders, may or may not have x closing x, and they may be persistent, or they may appear upon interaction. It's there are like multiple different types of how it can look like. So there are 9 types I categorized after mapping the entire Foreman. So first are basic search inputs. You can see there is a search input plus a button plus a bookmark or a caret. There are plain search inputs without anything, with some dots, with X, with a label. There are like multiple options. Or sometimes we don't even use search inputs, but just single filters, or combination of search input and with filters. You see that variation is really wide. But after categorization, I come up with these requirements. So what do we actually want and need from search inputs? So we want same functionalities as we currently do, as are currently supported by Foreman. We want to share the visual styles with all PF4 components and all search inputs, and also unify them within our product. And also, we would love to improve intuitiveness, so it behaves every time the same way. And now, new designs. So I'm proposing 3 types. So visual component would be a search input from PF4 with magnifying glass on the left side, with always with a placeholder without any dots. Search would start either upon enter or after a couple of seconds of not actually interacting with the search bar. There would be also a full text search for names and description. It means you wouldn't need to use a query format like name equals George and so on. And also it would support like today's functionalities like bookmarks, autocomplete, and creation of complex queries, because those are things that PF4 currently doesn't support. So this is first type is basic search input with a bookmark. After that, it's plain search input without a bookmark, and search input with additional filters. And now how it looks like. So you see, if I click on a bookmark, the behavior is the very same as we have right now. So for quick filters, we can select value, or it depends on a filter if we want a selection of single value or multiple values. After that, we can even add query. And you see here we have a chip for quick filter, and also chip for like more complex query. What's more, if it's like too long, there are ways how to truncate this, but the idea is that you will always see, in majority cases, if it's not like 100 lines long, you will always see your query. So you don't need to scroll right inside a search input. And with these quick filters, you see also number of selected values. Here is one. And you have always option to clear all these chips at once. What I would like to add is that if you want to bookmark your search, you would bookmark it with this quick filter and with this query as well. It would be in a format of query. So if you, for example, want save bookmark, it would be always just in a format of query. And I think that's kind of it. So once again, if you have any questions or feedback for me, feel free to either ping me or drop it to a comment or anything. Thank you very much.
That was great, Maria. Thank you so much for coming along and giving regular updates on your work. So far, let me just check, but I don't see any questions, but you can always reach out to Maria either directly or on our Foreman community discourse, or if you respond in any way, for example, on Twitter, on the YouTube comment section, I will follow up and make sure that Maria gets your feedback. Just one thank you on the live chat for sharing, Maria, but no comments. So thank you very much again, and we will move on to our next demo, which is going to be Andra, who is going to talk to us about the very exciting updates around Puppet extraction for Foreman 3.0, its status, what you need to know, etc. So please, when you're ready, Andra.
So hi everyone. I would like to give you a quick update about the Puppet extraction, which is ongoing for quite some time, and we are thinking about it for even longer. So now it's really happening. That's why we are announcing the 3.0. That's the main reason Foreman bumped the major version. And I will just give you a quick walkthrough what is going to happen and what happened, what's done, and what to expect with 3.0 and upcoming releases. So why did we do it? Foreman, as you probably know, has a long history with Puppet. It emerged as a Puppet dashboard, and it's there from day one. So why are we moving it on the side rail and extracting it from the core project to a separate plugin? Because we believe that there's more to Foreman than configuration management. So Foreman now can do much more than help you with your configuration management, and we believe that the core should really focus on all the use cases and not be so tied up with Puppet as it was till now. And the other reason is that there are more tools for configuration management, and we don't want to be as opinionated and give everyone Puppet by default. So we want to be more agnostic and give users the choice what configuration management tool to choose. But this all doesn't mean that Puppet is going away. We will still support it, and it will be just another plugin as every other configuration management tool in our ecosystem. So what is going away? In 3.0, the Puppet ENC is going away. So it's Puppet environments, Puppet classes with all the relationships to host and host group, smart class parameters, and config groups. So this is all what's going away, and also with all this, the Puppet ENC endpoint will go away as well. We will bring it back in another form, but the current form of Puppet ENC endpoint, the ENC endpoint is strongly related to Puppet and doesn't make much sense without it. In 3.1, this is still work in progress. We will extract Puppet CA to the plugin. There are still ongoing discussions if we should still do it in 3.0, but yeah, we will update it in the upgrade docs. But as I will note on the next screen, you will not lose anything unless you decide to. So how are we doing it? Puppet ENC is going away from Foreman core, but Puppet plugin is being installed by default with Foreman in 3.0. So you should not see any difference by default unless you disable the plugin, which is going to be still considered experimental, and that's why we decided to ship the plugin for everyone in 3.0, unless you you decide to disable it manually. In 3.1, the Puppet CA is going away unless we manage to do it in 3.0. But as I said, everything is going to be enabled by default. So unless you will have Puppet CA in 3.0 from the plugin or Puppet CA from the core, that's still to be decided. But in 3.1, it's definitely going away from Foreman core to the plugin, and Puppet plugin, nor Puppet server, nor Puppet CA are going to be installed by default. That means for new installations, if you will upgrade, the plugin will still be installed for you. So you will have to do some manual work to disable it, but it will no longer be experimental, and you can get rid of Puppet if you are not using it, and it just clutters your UI. So who did this? This is mostly contributed by Red Hat. The initial work was made by Red Hat. The decision was communicated on community, obviously, but came from Red Hat, as Red Hat doesn't want to be so opinionated and have Puppet by default. But we wouldn't do it without the community help, and I would like to give kudos to these 4 people who helped the most: Kamil Schubricht, Manuel Lang, Nadia Hitman, and Timo Gebel, who all were testing it and are now taking over the development of the Puppet plugin, and it's going great, and I would like to thank them for the effort and for helping out. How to test it? So if you want to test with plugin, so meaning Puppet Puppet enabled, just upgrade your Foreman to 3.0 and test it out. Or optionally, you can already upgrade to Foreman nightlies. And I would strongly encourage you to do so if you are using Puppet, because this is a huge effort, and there might be dragons as always, with such a huge effort. Even though we had a lot of help with testing it, and we hope that we deliver functional feature, but we can't promise anything unless we test all the scenarios, and Puppet has too much scenarios to test them all properly. So please, if you can, help us with testing and upgrade to nightly, test your use case, and let us know if something goes wrong. If you want to get rid of Puppet, here's how, but I will share this presentation in the demo thread, but I would not do so in Foreman 3.0, as that is really just experimental. But if you want to play around, here is how to do it. And I will share this in community thread. So if you want to know more than my brief introduction in the topic, and you are hearing it for the first time, more information can be found on the community Foreman org in the thread, The Road to Making Puppet Optional. And from there, you can find all the follow-up threads that will give you all the information you should need. There is the plugin repository, which you can use to contribute code to plugin or report issues. And for the extraction effort, there is a Redmine issue which you can follow, and you can see how and why what was extracted. If you are interested how we extracted from functionality from core to plugin, take a look at that thread, and all the relevant information should be available there. And that's it from me.
So we have one question, Andra, for you. So Puppet is needed for getting host facts. How is this handled if Puppet is disabled?
Well, so the host facts reporting is not going away, but you don't strictly need Puppet for getting facts. You can use alternatives to Puppet Factor, which all the other configuration management tools provide. So Ansible has its own fact management, Salt has its own fact management, so you don't strictly need Puppet. But we, during this effort, and that can be found in the Road to Making Puppet Optional, we decided to bring all the fact parsers to Foreman core, so any configuration management can report facts without any plugin. So this is not going away. If you are using Factor to report host facts, they will still be parsed and they will be available for you in Foreman.
Cool. Thank you. So let me see. Yeah, so just thank you very much. That answers that question, Andra. And thank you very much for coming along today and just explaining things. I might put something up on our blog, a summary of your points. And if anyone else has feedback, anybody else has concerns, just come talk to us. and hopefully everything will be clear for when the time comes. And also, yeah, we'll have some release candidates soon, so you can see for yourself how all of this will look. So I don't see any other questions for you, Andrea. So again, thank you, and we shall move on to our next demo, which is from Ian, and Ian is going to talk to us today about, he has two demos. One is to do with Foreman Maintain, the backup and the plaintext option, and then we'll move into the set of Katello demos for today. So Ian, whenever you're ready.
All right, thanks, Melanie. I'm just gonna get my screen shared. All right, there we go. All right, everyone. So yeah, I have two updates today. The first one is Foreman Maintain related, and then the second one is Katello related. So the first update I have here is a quick one. So in Foreman Maintain, if you've ever used the backup or restore features, you may have noticed that it was a bit inconvenient if you wanted to pipe the output to a log. Like the spinner would pop up and there would be all these extra, I don't know, new line characters, carriage returns, etc. So anyway, I recently added an option so that you can make it simply plain text. And I'll just show you real quick what that looks like. So I'm following my log file in this terminal up top, and in the bottom, I'll run a Foreman Maintain backup online command on my Katello 4.1 machine. And I have the plain text option here. So as we run this, you can look in the terminal I have on top, and you can see that there's no spinner. You don't have to worry about the coloring. Tail seems to be okay with the coloring, but if you look in Vim, I think you would see, for example, all of the kind of weird coloring related characters. So this should make it a lot easier to pipe this output to a log, so you can let it run in the background and check up on it later. Okay, so that was my update for Foreman Maintain. I'll just move on forward to the Katello one, and if you have any questions, you can let me know afterwards. So on to Katello. We have an update now. It should be coming in Katello 4.2, I believe, where you do not have to define your enabled or disabled repository types. Now we'll just be following what is installed on your primary smart proxy, your pulp primary smart proxy. And that helps out because, for example, if there was a mismatch between what you have defined in the Katello configs and what's installed in the smart proxy, it could cause some confusion. But now they'll be perfectly synced up. So how this will work in the background, if you ever looked at the Katello code, we have a list of all of these repository type files. There's one for Yum, one for Docker, et cetera, et cetera. And those kind of define the repository types in the code. What we've done now is we keep track of that list of defined repository types. Now, and we also keep track of a list of enabled repository types that are actually on your smart proxy. So I'll just show a quick demo of this. So on my machine here, you can see on Firefox on the left, I have mcorr installed, and the constant types that I have are deb, docker, file, and yum. And let's say I want to add, for example, the Ansible type. So just to show how I'm doing this, I have a terminal bring up on the top, and now I'm just going to be doing this via a pip install. That's kind of the development way to do it. Ideally, you would have it installed via packages and use the Foreman installer, but just showing you how this works kind of in a quick way. So I'm going to install the pulp Ansible plugin, and we have it installed. This is normally the point where you need to run the installer, so you can make sure that the plugin gets its mcorr migrations all set, but my database is already set, so I'm going to be skipping that. Anyway, so I've installed it. Now we need to make sure that pulpcore knows it's installed. So I'm going to restart the pulpcore server and all of its services. And then once that's reset, I'm going to go over to my smart proxy and I'm going to refresh its features so that we can see that Ansible is now available. All right, we are refreshed. Going to go over to services. So now you can see Ansible collections are in here. And then automatically it was picked up. If you look at my content types that I have, if I go all the way to the bottom, you should be able to see it, that Ansible collections is now in the list of available content types. If you want to go the other direction and disable a content type, there's just one added step. You'll have to restart your server. But I would expect you should run the Foreman installer, so that will be taken care of for you. And yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say there. Should make your lives slightly easier, less configuration to worry about. And that's it.
That's great, Ian. Thank you very much. I'll just allow a moment for questions. But so far I hadn't seen any. I think we're good. If anybody does have something for Ian, just feel free to drop a question at any time. But in the meantime, we will move on to our next demo, which is from Ryan. So welcome back, Ryan. And Ryan is going to talk to us another Katello demo about so some index upload remove, Python content, and content view publishing.
Thank you. Yes, let me just share my screen here. Oops. So I'll just introduce myself again.
We have lost your audio if you're speaking, Ryan. Completely. Let's see, are you back to us?
I think I disconnected there, my tab.
It's the demo gods must take blood at some point, Ryan. So it's just it's completely normal. Can you try and share your screen? I can hear you again, so that's positive.
Okay, yeah, now I'm sharing. Great.
Cool, it's coming up now. Yeah,
Okay,
there we
cool.
go. Yeah.
I'm a Red Hat intern working on Katello. Uploading and removing Python content from a Python repository and publishing a content view that contains a Python repository. This is a continuation of what I showed a couple of weeks ago, which was Python repo cred and syncing a Python repo. And this is all through a generic implementation, which means that in the future, implementing support for other content types will be much easier if they use these generic classes, because then all of the implementation details will be in one registration file rather than spread across tens of files. So I'll start by uploading, a file to this empty repository here. This is an empty Python repository. Before I upload, I just want to highlight a difference. The way this is working relative to other content types. You can see here there are, when uploading the content, there are two content types specified here, generic and Python package. And this here is just an API request to upload to the repository. And so I just want to point out that this is basically saying this will tell Katello to use the generic content unit model. And this will tell kind of the pulp side of things to handle this as a Python package. So anything using the generic classes, generic content unit model. So anyway, I will now upload this file just by making an API request to upload it. And that should take a couple of seconds. There we go, successfully uploaded. And I will just show, I will list the content units in the repository by making another request. And we can see in the results that the new file does show up there. So I'll upload a second file here. And you can see that that's successful as well. Again, I'll list. And you can see it here. ID number 5, scikit tensor. Now I'll remove a file from the repository, and I'll remove the first one. So that has ID 4. Give that a second. Repository content removed. Test again. And you can see now the file with ID 4 is gone. Great, so that's uploading and removing content. Again, that's through a generic implementation. Now I'm going to show creating a content view with this repository included, 42. So content view created, great. And I will publish the content view. That takes a second. Okay, completed. Oh. Now I'll just add the ID of the content view. So we can just see and verify that that worked. I'll list the content view here, and this is kind of hard to read, but I'll point out the important stuff here so you can see is included, and you can see version 1.0 was published very recently, just a minute ago. Yeah, so that's publishing a content view. And once again, this is all done through, while it is Python specific, it's done through a generic implementation. So in the future, content types, if using this generic implementation, when implementing, it's the difference of changing maybe just the registration file, so one file, versus changing tens of other files to implement support for the content type. And that's my demo. So thank you. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
It's one question, Ryan. So is the question is basically, is the Python package a type provided by Pulp, or can I create my own arbitrary types?
So Python package is provided by Pulp. It's the type used for Python repositories. If there were other ones, like for Python, yeah, that's something that it's specific to the Python repository, and it would be included with Pulp. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, Ryan. I will just spam 1 second checking if there are other questions before we move on. But I think we're good. I'm glad that we got you back connected. So thank you very much, Ryan. And we move on to our next demo, which is from Samir. So earlier, Samir was having a little bit of problems as well. Is everything looking good, Samir, for you now?
Yeah, I got the server up.
Excellent. So whenever you're ready.
So let me know if you can see my screen properly.
Looks good, Samir. If you want to just increase the size 1 just for look, yeah, perfect.
So today I want to give some updates around the new content views UI that we have been working on. So if you want to test it out on Nightly's, you can turn on experimental UI and you should see the content views and the lab features. So what I want to demo today is adding content views to composite content views. So we have this composite content view here, and you should be able to add content views to it. You'll be able to select what version to add. And so we added it here. You can also set it to always have the latest version added. So in that case, you won't be able to select the version. It always defaults to the latest, and it should tell you that. And in case you're adding a unpublished repository, you won't have to select or choose anything. It will just go ahead and add it for you with the latest option set. And all right, this was for composite content views. And the other thing I wanted to demo today is adding filters here. So I have a few filters here. So this is how you add filters. So let's just say demo 1. You can choose whether it's an include type or exclude type. You can select the type of the filter here. So let's say package group. You can set in some description. Once you create the filter, it should take you to the filter details page. And we are still working on some details here, which should be coming up probably, hopefully in the next demo. Yeah, that is it.
Lovely musical exit, Samir. Thank you very much. Let me check now and see, have we any questions for you, Samir? I think we are good. No questions, Samir. So let me see now. So up next, we have a first-time demoer. So first, very welcome to the Foreman community, Andrew. Andrew's going to talk to us today about a new change to the content view UI, deleting content view filters. So whenever you are ready, and may the demo gods be with you.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. So just to continue off where Samir kind of finished, I am in lab features, content views, and do remember you can go to settings to enable that. Under here, it is under experimental settings for the lab. But yeah, so I am continuing off pretty much exactly where he was. I'm under a filter, under a content view, named Bruce Willis. Yeah, he's awesome. So today I'm just showing you the remove of filters. So I can optionally remove a single filter. So if we didn't want Bob to be excluded, we could remove him. And success image, yay. We can also bulk remove now, and click here and remove. So there we are. It is the bulk remove and the single remove of filters. That's all I have to show you. Thank you.
Short and sweet. Thank you very much. And we have a last-minute addition to our demo today. So this, I suppose, this goes to show to anybody interested in demoing. If you haven't signed up, I suppose that the only time it's too late to sign up for a demo is when we go offline. So last but very much not least, we have Chris, who's also known as Tom Nook, Mr. Nook in the community, and Chris has a bit of an update on Azure. Isn't that how you say it? Azure.
Azure, yeah.
So Chris will talk to us a bit about some updates to do with the Azure compute resource. So take it away, Chris.
Yeah. So this will be short and sweet too. So let me just give me 1 second here. Present a window here. Can you see this okay? Or make it a little bit bigger?
Make it a little bit. It's kind of compact, I suppose, but yeah, that's better, definitely, and a little bit bigger. Thank you. Just for
yeah, the vertical tabs. So this is just real quick. There was community user Adam submitted this, and basically, so now you have the ability to build a VM with a NVIDIA graphics card. So I built this one. I'll show you what it looks like on the new host page when you're building a host, and I'll show you just what it looks like in Azure. But I meaning to demo this for a little bit. I hit some issues with my box last time. Let's give this a second here. It's a devel box, so it will take a moment. So on this virtual machine tab here, we have a new thing called NVIDIA driver. And it's got a nice little helpful thing. And there's some in the documentation upstream in the plugin documentation. We actually have links to explain it better, and then also links to the Microsoft documentation if you want to see what all you can do with it. So when you build a VM, you would just click this box and submit. So what I'll do is I'll show you what that looks like in Azure then. Let me zoom in on this guy. So this is the VM right here, and on the extensions here, they show up as we have an NVIDIA GPU. So this works on Linux and Windows. If you wanted to build a VM and, for whatever purposes you needed a better graphics card than what the stock VM gives you, that would satisfy your needs. And that's all I had, Melanie.
That was great, Chris. Thank you very much for coming last minute. Much appreciated. And I think that is everything that we have for today. So first of all, thank you very much to everybody who came along and demoed and talked about the latest changes, their research. Thank you to all of you who watched the demo live with us and asked questions. If anybody has questions at any point in the future about anything that you've seen here today, or if you're rewatching, just feel free to write to us on our Foreman community discourse, reach out to us on Twitter, reply to us on the YouTube, and you're more than welcome to, I will follow up. You're more than welcome to come join us, demo something that you're working on at a later stage, but most importantly also, just please complete the Foreman community survey. Just let us know how's our driving, and we'll be better able to make plans for the future that way. So I will see you all again in about 3 weeks. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.